Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a drive-along video here. I wanted to talk a little bit about real estate today, okay? And thanks for bearing with me as I drive today on the road here in Oregon today. But I had some thoughts about the real estate market, and I wanted to share them with you before the week wore on and the thoughts left my head. So I used to do a lot of real estate, as some of you know. Still consult in that business. I'm very interested and active in that business, but the real estate market is difficult right now for many reasons, mostly because we have a disparity between prices and what people can afford. And I'm working on that camera stillness, bear with me. So I went back and I did some numbers, and I remember, like, off the top of my head, I can do some interest mortgage calculations because I memorized a couple numbers in the table, and I came up with a rule of thumb, and I'll give you the rule of thumb real quickly here. But before you do, please like, share, subscribe. Really helps out the channel. I really appreciate that as we grow this channel and make it bigger. And in the description there's going to be a link to the Silver Symposium. Patrick's link is there for the 10% off discount. We're lining up the final agenda now. We've got a lot of people coming, a lot of speakers, a lot of good stuff. Hope to see you there at the end of September. Now, real estate. With what's happened in the last couple of years with interest rates going up, that 3% mortgage that everybody was just dying for, it's gone. It may never come back because what they were doing was they were lowering the interest rates to mask the fact that real wages weren't keeping up with the price of inflation. So they were just lowering your costs of borrowing money. So what I did was, when I used to do real estate like 15, 20 years ago, there used to be these tables in the newspaper. Yes, remember newspapers? And what they did was it gave you a 30-year amortization schedule or a calculator. And what you could do is you could take this and multiply by the number in that table and figure out what your payments for your principal and interest would be. And I noticed, like, just so I could have numbers in the back of my head, so I could do, top of the head calculation if a property would pencil out. The 6 is 6 and 7.5 is 7 was the rule that I remember. What that means is, for a 30-year mortgage at 6% interest, your payment will be $6 for every $1,000 you borrow. So imagine a $200,000 mortgage. Your payment's going to be 6 times 200, or $1,200 a month. Okay. Now at 7.5%, that number is 7 rather than 6, so it'll be $1,400 a month. Now, as a general rule of thumb, this works up and down the scale. At 1.5% interest is a 1-point move, or a $1 move. So if I start talking about a 4.5% mortgage, which was unheard of back then, your payment is $5 per thousand borrowed, or your $200,000 mortgage would be $1,000. At 3%, you're down to just a $4 multiple. So that $200,000 mortgage payment is only $800 for principal and interest. Big difference from $1,200 to $1,400 today. That's why people can't afford the homes at these prices anymore. So it got me to think about, okay, how are they going to fix this problem? We have a standstill in the marketplace. There's not many buyers. There's not many sellers. They're not moving on price points. It's pretty much a standstill in real estate. So I thought about this, and I'm like, well, there's been creative solutions before. I've done creative real estate, structured lots of deals, still do that and consult for that. But I was thinking, what's the product that they could put in the marketplace that break this logjam? And my first thought was a 40-year mortgage. Well, a 40-year mortgage does not really knock much off of your payment. It really doesn't. Maybe 10, 15%. So that $1,200 to $1,400 payment might go down to like $1,050. You're still not at the $800 level. Right, we're trying to get through that $800 level. So I also thought about interest only. So if you had a $200,000 mortgage, and to say you were paying a 6% interest only mortgage, that's basically 0.5% per month that you'd be paying. 1% of 200,000 is 2,000, so 0.5% would be 1,000. Your payment on interest only would be about 1,000. Problem is, it's still above the $800 level. So whether you go to 40-year or you go to a interest-only loan at the current market rates, you can't get low enough to be where the prices, the payments were a few years ago, because they were at 3% mortgages. So what can be done? This is kind of like the used car salesman, or the car salesman model of, like, what kind of payment can you afford? If you can afford that $800 payment, how am I going to get you an $800 payment? The only solution I could think of, and it's not a good one, but what they could do and introduce in the marketplace is a negative amortization loan. What that means is that your interest may rack up at $1,000 a month, but you may only have to pay $800, and they'll add $200 back on the back end. So when you have to sell or refinance, you're adding $200 back to your principal every month. So let's say you live in a house for 10 years, and this is the product that you buy. Over 10 years, well, I'll say 8 years, because that's almost 100 payments. That's actually 96 payments, but I'm going to round it to 100. So after 8 years of living in the house and paying the $800 a month, that extra $200 would wind up being an extra $20,000 on the price of your house to refinance it or to sell it. So if you bought that house for say $250,000, put $50,000 down, got your $200,000 mortgage. Your mortgage that you are paying on for 10 years or 7 years or whatever the number would wind up being goes from $200,000 to $220,000. So now you deferred that $20,000 payment. You got into the house, yes, you got to use the house for 8 to 10 years, great. But that cost you $20,000 in deferred interest. Now, obviously that's not a good thing for the consumer, but it can get a consumer into that house that they may want to be in that neighborhood they desire to be in for the next 7 or 8 years. So maybe that $20,000 hit on the back end is worth it to them. But these are the kind of creative products that are going to be coming in the marketplace. Now, I've done things like wrap mortgages or subject to, all these different creative real estate that happened in the past with, they do exist, they can be structured that way, and they're often done that way to take advantage of that pre-existing mortgage that is at 3%. Now, there are ways to do that, and there are ways to do it legally, and there are ways to do it with good title companies, but you need to have somebody with experience like myself who's done that before, and a good title company too. So I'm happy to help you, to talk to you about this. I'm getting shellacked here by wood chips from some truck that just left them all on the road. That's welcome to Oregon. Here's some wood chips. Anyway, I just wanted to share some thoughts about real estate, where I see the market going, where it could go, where I think the products that are going to have to be created. And the first one that makes these products, they're going to benefit because they're going to be able to get people to buy those houses and afford those payments, even though they really can't afford the house. And people will use this product. Now, this is going to be this is the slippery slope. This is another step down that steep hill towards, predatory lending, the issues that happened in 2006, 2007, 2008, the ninja loans, the no income, no job loans, writing your own mortgages and all that stuff. Or are we heading there yet? Could be. If people can't afford to buy a house, but they have to move, creative solutions will have to be presented and put out in the marketplace. So that's what I was thinking about. I'd love to read your comments and what you guys think about your real estate market, what you're thinking about the payments, where it's going to go. Have you talked to people who have done creative real estate before and need that kind of conversation? Let us know. Anyway, lots said today. I'm going to leave it there, and I hope to see you soon. Be prepared and not scared, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.